Good evening. Is this a sight you are all recognising? I think I'm just about steaming up. How are we getting on with these visors, masks? God, we are all back, and I know Scotland, you're getting back very soon, Wales soon, and it's great to have you. Let me get this off. Oh my goodness. Honestly, the issues with those. How are we finding them? Are we liking them? I'd love to hear your comments because we are back. And thank you for all joining us for the hair show number 7. Unbelievable. Number 7, here we are, and not just behind the chair, because that's what we're going to be talking a bit about tonight. We've got a little bit of a hook, a bit of a cornerstone, and we've got so much happening for you. Really excited. So all I ask you to do tonight, as always, this is your show, the Hairdressers Show, and you make this show. It's you guys that are sharing your comments in here. We absolutely love your comments. So any questions that you've got for us, for our fellow hosts who are going to be joining me shortly, get them in the comments. And remember, come on, let Facebook, everybody know the hair show is here, because we are here to lighten the mood. We want to know how your days have been since being back in the salon. So we've got a show coming up for you tonight. Are you ready? Should we have a look at what's heading our way? So coming up on tonight's The Hair Show. Well, first up, it's not just behind the chair. As we said, we're going to be talking about a little bit about the pathways, different options away from the chair, how you can mix it up in the hair industry. Then we've got World Hair News with Jordana Cabela. Jordana's got her stories that she's picked out from the week. She's going to be sharing them. Rock up and share. Cherie Thompson Sirena and Alina Salaris, and fantastic ones. You're going to really enjoy that. Brecky with Belle, Georgia Bell, one of our favourite parts of the show. We always enjoy it. What stories has she got? Win a hamper of Joico products. Yes, worth over £150. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. We are also going to be revealing this month's bumper hamper full. Weller, Kerastray, Inner Lux, Behave, and Denman products. We've also got Hairdressers Open Talks, and this is with Mathew Sutcliffe. He's going to be sharing his thoughts on tinned self-employed salons, and we have lots more. So stay tuned for this tonight, because it is going to be packed full, and get them comments coming in, get them liking. So are we ready to bring in our delightful, my regular co-host, and I'm delighted to bring into the screen Joanna Cabela. Georgia, how are you both?
Hello.
Hi.
Great to see you. Nice to see you back, Jordana. We missed you last week, even though we had Dan stepping in. He was great. What was going on with you last week?
Well, I was actually part of a shoot that had got delayed to that date, so we couldn't push it any longer. So I was in Birmingham doing a shoot. But I missed you guys, and I watched the show back, and it was amazing. And congratulations on getting the highest amount of viewings for the show. I think Daniel's done wonders for the show, so thank you so much, Daniel.
Yeah, it was Mr. Hollywood, wasn't it, George? They were all swooning over.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, it was great. We miss you so much, Jordana, so it's so good to have you back tonight. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at some of the comments here, guys, and there I was with the visor. I actually get back into the salon tomorrow, and I know many of you have been back in the salon Ireland. You've been there, I think, coming up to over a week now, haven't you? So I'm just going to look in. How you found things today, George? Because you opened the doors, didn't you?
Yeah, it was our first day. It's been wonderful. It's been stressful. It's been jam-packed. What can I say? You know, I went and done a whole refurb, changed my business completely. So not only have we had to deal with like bringing clients back in, but like the staff have had to deal with everything changing. But all in all, I think it's been positive. I feel happy about it. Got a bit of a headache, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, I've just seen here actually, George. Sorry, there. I'm just going to Andrew Dunn. Hi, Andrew. Lovely. Love watching his Sunday service last night. He's just put in here, legend. I'd love to know the medical reasons for visors. What do you reckon, Jordana? Any reasons on that?
Well, I saw an advert on Instagram the other day, and it was called a spit and sneeze guard. So I guess the medical reason is obviously we've got loads of different orifices that things can go into. And so I guess the visor gives you extra protection in case something does touch your eye. And I guess it does also stop you from actually touching your face. But nonetheless, both are so difficult to work in. Hopefully, guys, it will become, a bit like muscle memory or a second nature. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll just forget that it's there. I'm hoping. And let's loosen those bands around the edge of it, Dom, because that is what really gives you that dull ache.
I don't know if I'm getting the imprint already down there. I've just seen our friends from Australia, so I'll bring that back up again. Rose, hiya, from Melbourne, Australia.
Wow.
Love to know. Great to hear you guys down under. I think we're going to have to do a down under special at some point. One of our cornerstones coming up, going in. Mars in Ireland, Andrew says, George, your salon, by the way, how did it feel when we opened a new sort of salon, and not a new salon but a refurb? It must feel so fresh.
It's amazing. It's so fresh, but you put a lot of people, a lot of staff, or a lot of clients, or whatever, they don't realise the hard work that goes into everything and trying to run everything from behind. And it's been really trying and really testing, but all in all, like I said, it's really positive. It's just you put new things in place, and you can't expect all your team or all your clients to grasp that immediately. So it's really about training people, and it takes up a lot of extra time. But yeah, I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know, like I say, I think everybody is getting back into the swing of it. I've got to bring this lad up here, by the way. Harley Waters, ladies, and everybody. The visors are useful, but sometimes get in the way when trying to do intricate cuts. So Harley, may I tell you, is a member of my football team. Yeah, he's my goalkeeper, and he's been watching this, and he's going into barbering, which is absolutely fantastic. So isn't that great that a show like this can inspire a 15-year-old to actually watch this? And honestly, fantastic. So it's good to see you there, Harley. Make sure you keep up with the training. We worked them hard on Thursday night, by the way. So anyway, let's gonna head off into our weekly feature now, World of Hair News, and this is where Jordana brings up some news stories. So Jordana, we're gonna play our little track into it and hand over to you. World Hair News.
Welcome to the World of Hair News. Now, Ireland have completed their first week back at work, with the UK only being open from July 4th, Wales to open on July 13th, and Scotland to open on the 15th. We have the wonderful Sarah Mason, international award-winning hairstylist, a well-at guest artist and fashionista, session stylist, all the way from Ireland, who is going to share with us a few words of wisdom on the new normal and the positives around the new normal. For news story number 2, whilst the whole of the UK come out of lockdown, Leicester has undergone a local lockdown following a spike in COVID-19 cases. Now, we wanted to hear directly from Leicester, so we chose to speak to Leanne Regan, a salon owner of Renew in Leicester. So over to you, Leanne.
Hey guys, hope you're okay. My name's Leanne Regan and I am the founder of Renew Hair Studio in Leicester, and currently we are on Leicester lockdown. So like the majority of the industry, we were preparing to open on the 4th, and we'd gone through the mammoth task of ringing everybody, and then we had this news. So what did we do? The first thing that we did as a team was identify the challenges. What new challenges have arose from this situation? One was, how do we operate the booking system now? We have to call people that we've already booked back in. And then the second, I would say, most important one was, clients now have an option to go somewhere else. So why are they going to wait for the appointment? And then what we did is, once we identified those challenges, we identified the opportunities. And this is where it really pays to be a creative, and it's really paid for our team to put our heads together, and we've thought of some great things, and now we have a couple of weeks to actually be able to input them. And as well as that, I get the opportunity to sort of see how other salons are doing it over these next couple of weeks. What sort of things you're trying, what works, what doesn't work, and hopefully try and implement that before we open as well. So I'm really thankful and grateful for the industry for being so open and for giving us the opportunity to do that before we get back. To any of the salons that are in Leicester, I know this is difficult, I know it's challenging. Identify those challenges, make a plan, put that to the back of your mind, and then think about how you can use these next 2 weeks to focus on the opportunities and really show people why it is that they're going to come to you at the end of this. So thanks guys, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
And for news topic number 3, which is the topic of today's hair show, not just behind the chair. Now, we've compiled a list of all the things that a hair qualification and all the places it can take you to. Now, I'm sure there's many things that we may have missed off the list, But here I have it in front of me, and we'd love to know your thoughts on this. So, hairdressing qualifications can take you obviously to salon stylist, salon owner, wedding hair specialist, trichologist, session stylist, hair educator, celebrity hairstylist. We've got the picture of Chris Appleton and J-Lo, which everyone absolutely fans over. Film and TV, theatre production hairstylist, wig specialist, hair consultant, brand ambassadors, hair influencer on social media, research and development, science expert on hair, and hair journalism, PR and marketing, not to mention wig maker and theatrical production stylist. I'm sure there's many, many more, but today's topic of today's show is all about, understanding the realm of hair and all the different places it can take you, because it's not just about life behind the chair as we know it. So that's all for today's hair news.
Well done, Jordana. Apologies, everybody, there on Sarah's audio. I'm going to try and bring that up. There was some reason that didn't play, so I rest assured that we will do that. But brilliantly done there. So, look, tonight's show, George, is, it's not just about being behind the chair. And Jordana shared there some, different pathways. I think this is really interesting to cover, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so many opportunities out there. And I think, people just automatically think that you will be a hairdresser behind a chair, you'll build a clientele, and that is it. But actually, our industry offers so much, and so much more than just doing hair. And I think it's really important. We're there to make people feel better. We're there to change people's lives. We're there to help with mental health. We're there to help with so much more that isn't publicised. So I think it's really interesting and really great that Jordana's actually the opportunities available out there. And especially, like I've always said, I'm from the north, so we don't always have that opportunity presented to us, whereas if you're in London or a big city, it's always there. So I think it's really great to explore that actually you can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Do you know what I mean with it? It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think creatives, we do have a lot of different talents, and it's so lovely to see people find those niches, sometimes quite late on into their career. I'll never forget, I met a wig specialist called Gary, who I met in Selfridges when I was working there. And he was a wig specialist, but specialised in medical clients mainly, not necessarily fashion clients. And he used his degree in psychology, which he got when he was about 18. He used his degree in psychology to help with his wig specialism. We had a private room, and he was the most gentle soul, and he was just inundated with bookings, and he had the most amazing approach with clients. And it really made me think, wow, that's a real niche role that he's managed to combine both of those sort of skills and make success out of it. So,
sometimes it's medical and sometimes it's aesthetic, but it's always changing the way that somebody thinks, and it's always helping somebody with their own thought process, and always helping somebody make themselves feel better about themselves. And so for me, I don't think there's any other job that's more rewarding than that.
Yeah, and I think that is really important. And we spoke about Harley, who's watching this and interested in going into barbering. I think this is so important that we can talk about this, because we were chatting, weren't we, earlier, ladies, that we were sort of saying that this isn't about coming away from the chair. It's about an alternative directions that you can sometimes go with your hairdressing career. And I think it is important, and particularly as we get back into our salons. And wouldn't you agree, Jordana, it's quite nice to maybe have other little sideline areas of the industry to maybe explore and maybe then pursue off into?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is so easy to pigeonhole yourself so quickly or so early on in your career, but to always try and have an open mind, because there will be things that come so naturally to you, and there'll be things that you may have not thought about while you're actually learning in hairdressing. You might specialise in colour, but then 10 years down the line, you've got an absolute knack for like styling or wedding hair. And so much of our jobs is about personality and where that fits in. Because if you do have a big personality, then, loads of hairdressers have gone on to become celebrity stylists, because they have a specialist in that field as well. We've got what's that name of the guy, Rylan, who was a hairdresser and became a presenter. Also Mrs. Hinch. I don't know if any of you guys follow Mrs. Hinch. She is the most amazing cleaner in the world. She's a social media expert, but all of her stories and all of her content is just on cleaning. And I'm talking like the best before and afters you've ever seen. Now, when she went on This Morning last month, it came out that she was a hairdresser, a trained hairdresser, and had been working in the hair industry for about 7 years, and then took a backseat to start, posting about her interiors, and then fell into this cleaning role. And now she's absolute social media queen, isn't she, George?
Yeah, and I mean, you've got to look at Rylan as well. Like, he was a pretty crap singer, if I'm honest, but he's done so well because he's such a personality. And I look at Rylan and I think, oh yeah, he's going to do a great presentation on that. He's a kind guy. He's out there. He's loud. And actually, you don't necessarily always have to be mega good at what you specify in to actually branch out and do more. And I think that's the same with hairdressing. I would always like to see a decent skill level, and I would always like to see somebody that's trying really, really hard. But if you have got a big personality, or you're really up on your client care or whatever, you can actually make a name for yourself without actually being 100%, which I think that's what it is, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good thing to have different opportunities and pathways. I really do. I think it makes our industry more attractive, and it isn't always the obvious, because I quite often, when I do the podcast, people will say, what's so great about hairdressing? Well, you can go into many opportunities, and it's always quite often the same thing, session stylist, work in TV, film, be an educator, but actually it's even more, and I think niche down to what you can imagine. And like us guys, here we are doing the hair show. I've gone off into a media side. It's just so exciting to explore. So come on, you lot, get your comments coming in there. All right, I want to hear, what areas do you think we could look at? Is there something we haven't covered here? I'd love to read your comments, and we're going to bring them up into the screen. We're going to really talk a little bit more tonight, because that's where we felt we wanted this really engaging conversation tonight. All right, so let's get your ideas. Maybe who could we inspire? Some kid at school, you're going to give them some career talk about hairdressing. What direction could they go? So let's bring them in, and we'll go there. That's really nice, Sasho, by the way. He's just love Sasho. He's such a cool guy. You're brilliant, guys. Well, hey, you ain't too bad yourself. So anyway, who fancies a bit of hair work? All right, give us a bit of love, likes, because we're going to do our very first rock up and share of the night, and it comes with a real regular of our show now. She's our beautiful Cypriot girl. It's Elena, and we just love rock up and share. This is your platform to showcase and share your hair talent. So here goes.
I'm looking for you.
There she is, Eleni, the girl who's just pinged up out of absolute nowhere, but over lockdown. Yeah, what did you think there, George?
Do you know what? I really love the blend at the front. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I love her effort. Like through lockdown, I've seen nothing but a name. To be honest, she's been on every group. She's been putting loads of effort in, and I think it's great. I think it's really great that someone out there is just willing to showcase what they're doing, and hands up to that. I think it's amazing.
I think what I wanted to pick up again is, not just behind the chair, our sort of talk tonight, Jordana, but I think what I've really noticed, not just in the last 2 years, but certainly in the last lockdown, in this lockdown, that everybody's gone digital, we're being online, everybody's getting a flavour of, sharing their work. Educators seem to be, really popular. I mean, what's your take on, people wanting to go into education?
Well, I think it's authentic, and I think it's great to have lots of people build their own brands, regardless of their position or status with a big brand and company. So I think it is really, really good. And I've been on the receiving end of education from people who have only just put it out on their Instagram a few months prior to the class. And it is so authentic. I think it is becoming a little bit saturated and a little bit flooded at the moment. But I think that could just be an influx of passion and an influx of trend, and it will move forward, but for the time being it does feel quite flooded, but you know what, it's a great money maker, it really is, and it's nice that people get to the choice to get educated virtually, but also go to people's cities and experience a day at someone's salon. I think that experience is invaluable. So it is really exciting time. I do think you have to be a little bit careful. Make sure you are at that stage where you can answer any question that comes your way. And if it is the first time that you're doing it, maybe do some one-to-one classes first, and you're not so exposed, because you need a lot of confidence to have that public speaking and be able to talk to a room full of hairdressers that can sometimes be a little bit intimidating just because of the way that we don't always like to sit down and watch. We like to do. So it's really hard to get hairdressers engaged, isn't it, when you're talking? How do you find that, George?
No, I completely agree. I mean, I've noticed a massive influx in lockdown, but I think that's because we have been in lockdown and people have found an opportunity to share the work. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What I've said to my team is I've always given them guidance on who I personally find to be an amazing educator. And I would say, if you are going to give an hour, you're going to give 2 hours, please give it to this person, because I feel like there is a certain level. It's like anything. It's like you're an assistant, then you go to be a stylist, then you go to be a senior stylist, then you go to be an owner. It's the same in education, and I really feel like you can't just say, I am now an educator. I feel like you've got to go through the run through, and you've got to do everything that you need to do before you can say that. But I'm not knocking anyone, because we've all been locked down and we've all needed help. So I wouldn't say you haven't got a right to post a video, you haven't got a right to run a class. Everyone's got a right, but I'm just saying that for me and my team, I'm quite structured on who I want them to watch, because I know that they're the kind of standard that I need.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring in, sorry guys, I'm just looking at there's some great comments. I don't want to, James, hiya James, really good to see you. Life of Hair. I mean, James has really carved out a fantastic, he's probably the UK's leading YouTuber, hairdresser now, along
amazing.
With Alan Austin Thompson as well. But what I love about James, The Life of Hair, is that he's created a real niche again. He's decided to go off in a slightly different direction. And I know James very, very well. And, he kind of felt he wanted to not go the award side, but carve out this YouTube. So give. And then, opportunities. It's maybe not always charging. And I think what's really important, Jordana, as well, is I think any of this is about having a story. It's about having a thing that's really, really niching down. I always say this in my podcast. And Leah Hobson, hiya Leah, by the way, lovely to see you here. She talks as well about, consultancy, and where else? There was a comment else, that, being consultants on personal style and preference.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, I mean, how good's that? You can really go deeper, and you can really stand out and think what maybe not everybody else is doing.
Yeah, sure. Going back to education, just before I forget, I think one of the biggest positives about doing online classes or even how to sped up videos is that the more you can teach something or teach a skill, I think it solidifies the information that you already have. And I think sometimes teaching something actually creates, you become an expert. I think there's a quote somewhere online, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like, when you start teaching, you become the master and the expert of something. So my advice would be to find something really, really niche. So for example, this year, I'm not doing any cutting or colouring education. I've done the odd sort of Instagram live session, but this year I'm just focusing on the mindful hairdresser, which is a course about emotional intelligence. And so that's the only thing that I can focus on, and therefore the conversation is always open in my mind. I talk to my clients about it, I research books and stuff like that, and then you do become an expert because you're focusing on something so niche that you then discover all of the information available for it. Yeah. Whereas when you try and scratch the surface, the same way we do with hairdressing, you know, every day we do styling, we do cutting, we do colouring, but I don't know if you can get away with that as an educator. I think it's really important to be really niche, a bit like Patrick Cameron or a wedding specialist. And then once you've mastered that, you can obviously, you know, think about moving on to something else. But that would be my advice for now.
I'm just going to jump in. We're going to move on again in a second, by the way. And tonight we are being a little bit more conversation because we just felt we wanted to really talk about this tonight. So because we want you to be involved in this, as we can't say this enough, this is your show. This is why lives are so great, because it engages conversation. But Sasho, he says also, do you believe in online education, George?
Yeah, I mean, I moved some stuff online. I think that's the entrepreneur in me. When we went into lockdown, I moved it online before lockdown because really my thing is I want to make things accessible to everybody. And unfortunately, there's some hairdressers out there that can't afford a day of education with an educator. They can't, you know, they're not in that position. So I really wanted to provide a kind of platform for everybody. So yeah, I do believe in it. Do I prefer it? No, I don't. I like to be with an educator. I like to see the little pros and cons that they do in a day. But do I think that online education is bad? No, I don't. But in the same breath, I won't push my team to like go watch loads of precision cutting if we're a colour house. So whatever I push my team to watch or what I watch is going to benefit me and my business. Right. And I think everyone has to remember that, you know?
Perfect. Okay, guys, keep them comments coming in, all right? We want to hear your thoughts on this. Anything that pops into your mind, share it in the comments, all right? So just a reminder that we got about a 20 seconds delay from hearing what I say to getting your comments in. So I'm seeing your comments, hence I'm looking down here. They're all coming in, which are great. You know, bring in your ideas into the show. Now, yeah, it's not just behind the chair. One thing that could find your way going in your career is that you get asked to come onto the hair show, and before you know it, you've got your own very little segment in the show, and that's called Brekkie with Belle. And that's what's happened to George. As her profile's gone, here she is now with her little piece. Everybody loves it. So I'm just going to let you introduce this, George, all right? So hand it over to you.
So whatever your dilemma is, darlings, your very own dear Deirdre in the hairdressing industry is here to help. Remember, you remain completely confidential and absolutely anonymous. I've had some belters this week. They're getting better every week. So without further ado, Dom, please play Brekkie with Belle.
Welcome to this week's episode of Brekkie with Belle. Remember, whatever you send in, you remain absolutely anonymous and it remains completely confidential. So, question 1. I am a self-employed stylist in a salon, but the salon that I work in doesn't get me any clients. Now, is that fair? Now, what I would say is actually, the kind of clue is in the name, self-employed. And really, when you do work as a self-employed stylist, it is really up to you to try and build and find your client base. However, I think it is fair if the salon can help you out where possible, but generally you'll find a client base really in employed salons. So, question number 2 is the salon that I work in is so bitchy. There are 2 certain people that really work as a pair, and between the 2 of them, they completely change the dynamic, and it's making me feel so uncomfortable. What should I do? You know, it's a really hard one because usually it can happen with a couple of people. I would ask to speak to your manager or speak to the owner and get a meeting set in place, because really it only takes one bad apple to spoil the cart. Question 3. After lockdown, I really want to push myself and start doing more competition work, but I'm wondering, how can I approach my boss about this? Have you got any advice? So yeah, I think that's really good that you're thinking creatively outside the box and you want to push yourself to competition work. I think any boss that really cares about their team and wants the best creative team will push you towards these things. But it's definitely worth sitting down, explaining your plan, perhaps presenting a mood board and asking your boss for advice and permission to do this. But if they are supportive, they will push you towards this kind of thing. So question 4, in lockdown, the owner of the salon has decided that she is going to start charging us to get our hair done when we come back after lockdown. We are in an employed salon and this was the only perk we used to get. What do I make of it? To be honest, I think that this is really unfair. I think that if you are in an employed salon especially, you know, it kind of is an unwritten rule that you get your hair done, and the owner should surely want you to look like you've got nice hair without having to pay for it. So I would really, all of you, call a meeting and say, you know, that you don't agree with this, or maybe you can come to some sort of agreement, because I personally think that that's very unfair.
We were just laughing in the green room now. Your last one, George. Should we repeat what we were just saying there?
Yeah, well, I just think it's outrageous, mate, to be honest. Like, it is the perk that you get being a hairdresser, getting your hair done. And as a salon owner, I want all my team, I would want everyone to look their best. So to charge them, to be honest, I just think it's ludicrous, and I wouldn't put up with it. No.
Jordana, could I ask you on that one, or are you being a bit tighter-lipped there?
I tell you what, I'm a big believer in sharing the burden. So if for whatever reason, because we've got to look at the reasoning behind here, if that salon owner has experienced financial difficulty and serious financial difficulty that she cannot afford a £7 tube for one of her stylists, then honesty is the best policy. Communicate that. Look, we're in financial crisis at the moment. Do you know what? I can't really afford to be giving you this for free. Can we share the cost of it? £3.50 each, done. And I am a believer of, you know, at least for hair extensions, you have to pay for the cost price of it. For maybe really, really expensive services, which we don't offer, like maybe hair perming or relaxing, fair enough, a contribution. But it is a salon owner's duty to be able to look after, you know, your team, and that is one of the only perks they get. You know, we have to work weekends, we work antisocial hours. What else is there? We're on our feet all the time. We're mentally drained. This is one of the only perks we can actually give to our employees, and with pride. So unless there are serious reasons behind it, I'm with you. I think it's ludicrous.
Cool.
No, don't get me wrong. If it was like really serious, but I would say no. I wish I need to sit down and talk to you, Jordana, for a bit longer, because I'm like, no.
Keep it coming. Come on, let's have a bit of that. It's great. This is what it's good. It's good to, you know, it's different opinions, isn't it? And Daryl, he just mentioned he does all his staff hair. I'll bring that up again, Daryl. On a Saturday before opening for clients, never make them pay. So, yeah, it's divided. So, hey, there's something else for another show, I reckon. Just quickly, again, before we move on, you mentioned about competition work there, and again, that's another part. It's away from the salon chair, isn't it? Competitions are healthy, George.
Yeah, absolutely. I always push my lot to competitions, but again, it is another financial thing for a salon to take on, and that's why I always say, go to your boss, present a mood board, and, you know, give a little presentation if you're deadly serious about it, because it is a big cost for a salon to incur. All of a sudden, they've got to send you to London, they've got to send you to a big city, you're being paid for the day still, you've got to pay expenses. But I do believe I want to push my lot to greatness. And sometimes, yes, it financially costs me, but I think it in a whole, it looks great for the salon when your team are out doing this and that and they've achieved this and that. And I think it's really great. But actually, just if you're wanting to get into it after lockdown, I would request a meeting with the owner or the manager just to see where it stands. Just being respectful.
Well, competitions, perfect link again. Hey, what a segue into this. Competitions, we do them every week of the hair show. If you've been following the hair show right from the start, 7 episodes back, one of the big parts of this competition, which is a real first in our industry doing this, is actually we are giving a bundle of every week prize into one big prize. This is huge, honestly huge. And tonight we are going to reveal our monthly bundle, our first big bundle prize winner, and I'm going to let Jordana do this. I'm going to hand this over to you, Jordana. You can just take this one away.
So, as Dominic has just said, the bundle of prizes to be won here is epic, and I'm just going to tell you exactly where they are from. So we have one of the first prizes, which was Weller Professionals, then Kerastrait, Innerlux, Behave, and Denman, and also this week for Joico. Now, this week's bundle, or this month's bundle winner for all of those prizes put together is Becky Woodhead. So congratulations, Becky. Don't forget to tag us when you receive all your goodies, which will probably come in about 10 or 15 boxes. Tag us and show us all of your new kit, and make sure you tag at How to Cut It. Over to you, George.
Oh my God, Jordana, what a prize. So I'm just here to talk about this week's prize, which is the Joico set. So we are featuring the Dream Blowout, the Zero Heat, and also all of the moisture recovery range, and it comes in total of £150. So I'm just going to pass it over to Dom, and he's going to play a great video from Joico showing them in action as a brand.
Thank you so much there, Joico. What a great video. I loved the curls there. I think you missed out the link form, didn't you, Georgia? I think Dan's just posted it in the comments, has he?
Yeah, I think Dan's busy away, and so is Dave.
No, I think he's there now. I think he's in the comments. I think Dan's joined us.
It's in the comments. So yeah, there's a link form to any of our future competitions. And once you sign up, that's just fantastic, because you get carried through to every single competition. So it's dead easy, and look at what you can win. Basically, our winner tonight has won a year's worth of hairdressing supplies. How helpful is that? Amazing.
Absolutely correct. Now, I think I've just got to pick up on that again. And by the way, Joico, I love the videos again. I love what these guys are sharing. And I think that's another part of our journey in the hair industry, isn't it, Jordana? That, away from the chair, you could get opportunities to work for brands and work on jobs like that. Is that something you've experienced yourself?
Yes, and I'm still on my journey. So if you're watching brands, no, I'm joking. But I have been working with Weller for a few years. Don't get me wrong, you have to put the hours in when you're starting off. And as with all of hairdressing experiences outside of the salon, you're going to be doing a lot of work for free. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I have appreciated that that's the grind I need to put in order to get paid work experience afterwards. I'm now fortunate enough to be a guest artist for Weller, but I am striving for more. So it is a journey. Yeah,
and I think, again, George, you've done a little bit of ambassador role as well. You currently, aren't you?
Yeah, I do quite a lot, but it is a lot of free work. But it's education, isn't it? And it's pushing yourself, and you've got to see where you want to be. And I'm dead old school, and I will I will push myself as hard as I need to get that opportunity. And yeah, I've appreciated every second. It's been one hell of a ride. I work with Affinage, they're an amazing company. I'm a colour rebel. It's fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, again, that's kind of what this is all about tonight. It's not just behind the chair. And that's going to lead us into our Hairdressers Open Talk, HOT. Okay, and this is where we invite guests to come onto the show and speak about a subject that they're passionate about. And this guy that I'm going to introduce is somebody that I brought onto the podcast not so long back, actually, Mathew Sutcliffe of Tint. And he's going to share his topic about what they're offering as a self-employed salon, and I'll be interested to engage your thoughts on this, so listen in. Okay, this is open conversation, so if you agree, disagree, feel free, but let's go into Hairdressers Open Talk with Mathew Sutcliffe.
It's 4th of July, we're just about to open a salon and I'm so scared. But that's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. I've just been asked to come on to talk about the way we do things at Tint, and just follow on from my podcast that I did a few months ago. As I said in the podcast, I've set up a self-employed salon in Leeds called Tint. It was set up off the back of me and my business partner working at a self-employed salon. A self-employed salon with employed benefits, and that's kind of what we try to achieve to do. The way we sort of go about doing that is we rent chairs. There's no percentages or anything like that. We just rent chairs out to stylists, and I like to treat them as the clients. So they come to us, they rent a chair off us. Everybody pays a set amount, and they, within that bundle, they will get a collection of things, whether it be maybe a photo shoot, or it might be a receptionist, or just having assistants around you, extra training if they need it, and everything else really. So everything that you would expect from an employed salon is now bundled up within that chair rent, and that's what we aim to achieve. Obviously, they are self-employed. We don't hold anything on them or anything like that. What we've done is we create a culture, and just like culture, really, people really invest in that culture and really see the benefits, and that's sort of how we're achieving the things we're doing. We know we haven't got any hold on them, which I'm not into that either. We're just all about just creating opportunities for people and being able to give them that, really, which we feel a lot of employed salons and self-employed salons can't offer them. So that's why I feel like we're different. We're now creating a sort of a younger team as well, and basically that younger team will come through the ranks just like any employed salon. They'll become an assistant before they work on the shop floor and everything else, but they won't necessarily see your self-employed life for a few years after that. It's about teaching them how to become a good self-employed stylist, having all the materials to do that, whether it be having a good accountant, knowing how to do your own books, or being able to work a PDQ machine. We feel like we want to give them the tools to be a proper self-employed stylist, therefore going forward adhering to all government guidelines and everything else, that we've got somebody really spot on for our industry and to fly the flag for self-employed salons. So we almost think of it as a bit of a career ladder. You come into the salon at 16, maybe 17, 18, whatever. You train as a hairdresser, spend 2-3 years training. You come onto the shop floor, you build your clientele, you do your courses. You might want to do a managerial course, you might want to do a colour specialist course or anything like that, and you work your way up the ladder just like any career. But at that point, and I know there's probably a lot of employed salon owners out there that probably feel this, but at that point where the stylist starts to think, you know what, I want to do my thing now, I want to be self-employed, I want to get my own salon, we want to basically say, you know what, you can do that here. You build your own brand here. You can do your own thing. You can become self-employed, etc., etc. Obviously, you have to be to a certain level to fit into the brand and into the team. We feel if we prime them and get them ready for that opportunity, for that moment where they become self-employed, I think it'll be better all round. One, we give the stylist more opportunities from doing that and more flexibility, more freedom and everything else. But also keeping the stylist within team as well. That's something that I've worked in a few different salons and I've seen that happen so many times where stylists get to a point where they think, I want to go self-employed, I want to get my own salon and everything else. So just think about that point where they go, you know what, I need to do my own thing now. That's what we're trying to capture really.
Yeah, there was a lot of love coming in there for Mathew, and we invited Mathew on because I really like the model that he's got for Rent-A-Chair, and that podcast, if you do want to listen to it, go and check it out. He really goes into detail on it. George, where do you stand on self-employed renting a chair? I hate that word, renting a chair. It just sounds naff, doesn't it?
No, do you know what? Like my lot are self-employed as well. The majority of my lot are self-employed. So I absolutely love this business model because I think it provides opportunity, and I think that's really important. My argument with it is it's not an argument because, like, I do a self-employed salon. But what I realised is when I wanted to create a brand, I had to start employing people, and I had to start getting people on board. So all my assistants, they're employed, and they're going to come on board as employed because despite whether you're self-employed or not, if you're self-employed, you work for yourself. So if you are a salon owner and you want to build a brand, it's very difficult. And I know that firsthand. So I think you need a combination. I think you need a combination of both, really. But I love his business model, and I think it's fantastic. And I think the opportunity he's providing is amazing.
Yeah, I've just seen Lizzie Williams there. Hiya, Lizzie, who admin for the Hair Young Guns, how to cut it. Go and check that out. She says, I love Mathew's approach, Jordana. Are you in love with that approach?
Yeah, I mean, I do it slightly differently. I've been lucky enough to get to Leeds and use Mathew's salon for a shoot. And he's a gorgeous salon. He's a gorgeous man. It really works for him there. In London, I noticed that it's best to offer self-employment once someone has climbed through the ranks at Cabela. So once they hit the ceiling of art director, the only way we could actually offer them more money was to change them to a self-employed structure where they were on commission. And I truly feel that having employees that work through the ranks first, because I feel like self-employment is such a position, you're both in positions of trust, that it really does work, because it's almost like you have to kind of do the hard work to get to that privilege. But I do think it is the way the industry is going. The more I realise, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the more I realise that not all clients come to Cabela for Cabela. They come to Cabela because someone called Charlotte works there and she can do amazing highlights, and they follow Charlotte. And a lot of business owners are going to hate me for saying this, but not as many clients come to you for the name anymore. And particularly because we've seen a lot of, a decrease in blow dries and styles. I just really feel that now I think we have to change with the times and appreciate that, after a certain amount of years in the industry, 30, 35 and above, these hair professionals work in different ways. We want to charge different things. We want to run our column differently, work on different time scales. Why not run a business within your business if it's financially viable for you? And of course it does save us a little bit of time and worry. We're not, the burden again is shared. If they're self-employed, they find their own clients. Having someone employed by yourself, you have to make sure that you're filling their spots. You're filling every hour that you're paying them. You have to fill that with money and with clients. So I think that's where the shift is happening. At the moment, my salon is half and half. it's a struggle to get the people who are in art director position to become self-employed, because they are so comfortable, and I appreciate that. But when they get tired of not having an increase in price and maybe wanting more money, that's the step they have to take.
Yeah, there's a lot of agreeing going on here with you, Jordana, and Andrew's just said you've got to be flexible these days. You've got to be with that, haven't we, George?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with it. You know, it's part of the reason for my name change, because I saw it as like a society of people. There's some employed, there's some self-employed. I don't think we should be there saying employed is the only way forward. I do not think employed is the only way forward. And I think, you know, there is a lot of self-employed business models that work really well. I think that you have got to have a very grown-up level of self-employed people within there that are going to look after themselves. But just like what you were saying, Jordana, even with my lot that are self-employed, they're still put through the ranks. I would not put a young person, or I would not put an inexperienced person on my shop floor as self-employed without offering them a certain level of training, without looking after them. Because at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, even with your self-employed lot, they don't say it's Charlotte at Cabela. They say it's Cabela that messed my hair up, or they say it's Georgia at Society that messed my hair up. You know, so we have to. There still has to be a certain level of expertise and experience.
It's fair to say that this is probably one of the most divided topics in our industry, because it is just, you know, you tend to be in one camp or the other on this, and I actually think, look, we've got to go with what choice, and this is what this is all about. It's about offering choice. You know, we as a salon owner may think it's not right, but the self-employed may think it's right. It's about offering choice, and that's what it is. Some people want to be employed, some people don't, and we live in a world now, guys, don't we, that people are wanting to be their own brands. They're creating their own brands on social, and I think it's easy for them to do that under a banner. So whether we like it or not, and we can all look at America and laugh sometimes, but we follow America, and I think the vast majority of America is booth rental. So I think we're just going to have to be creative, and like what Mathew said there, and there's people like Kai and there's Hunter Collective who are really changing the rule book when it comes to freelance self-employed salons, and like what you're doing, George, is happening. So great, keep them comments coming in, guys. It's great. I think it's something that maybe, again, if you would like this as a stronger subject, going more into that, going further, then we're all for that. Now we're going to come into our next part, hair, as we always say, and we're going to have our next rock up and share, guys. And this one, really, I invited this young lady on to do this because I was blown away by her over, again, lockdown, and her hair up skills, her dressing. She absolutely smashed it on the socials the other night. I think she got her near on 18,000 views, and she is really good. Wow. And she's a salon owner, but she's kind of, just working a little bit differently as well alongside her salon business. So next rock up and share is Cherie Thompson Siren. So enjoy this, guys. It's a pleasure to see this.
Hi, I'm Cherie from Siren Hair Art, and first of all I'd like to say thank you to Dom for this amazing opportunity for me to be here with you today on the hair show. And today I'm going to show you how to create a super easy, super quick style, a bridal style which is a really lovely modern boho bridal style. So I can't wait to show you. Let's get started. just added a few little soft rolls here. And then we're pretty much done. I'm just going to fix it with some spray. And then I'll add some decoration. I've got this really pretty slice. I'm going to just add that in the centre now, just to complete the style. And then I'm happy with that. I think that's come together beautifully already. Hopefully you've enjoyed this quick how-to tutorial on a beautiful boho bridal style. Check me out on Instagram, Siren Hair Art. I'd love to share my inspiration with you, and the link to in my bio on Instagram is for my online education platform. I've also got a lovely Facebook group just to share inspiration for lots of wedding inspiration. So anyone in the wedding industry or loving hair off or want to learn more, I've got this group where we're all sharing inspiration there. So there's a link to that. You can always DM me as well, and I'll give you the information. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Cherie. Absolutely beautiful. We were all just saying it's a lovely look. I mean, that's such a current way now of, you know, styling hair and, you know, that dressing hair, isn't it, George?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really loving that sort of undone look. So the boho is definitely moving forward, and it's definitely becoming more popular. So Cherie, I think you've done a fantastic look of that. Beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of, again, people really enjoyed that. And rock up and share. I think Dan's just sharing it in the comments. If you want to get up and actually produce a video, it's not as hard as it sounds, really, then do it. But also now our team, Jordana, George, myself, are kind of looking out there, and we're now starting to invite people that we would like to bring on to do a rock up and share how to. If you want to see that in full, by the way, then I think we're going to share that on the Facebook page at some point going forward, maybe on the YouTube as well. So maybe Dan will put the links for the YouTube channel in there. But Jordana, I think that's again something that I'm quite keen to just mention about is, you know, Cherie is really taken, obviously education as another part, but she's training it for people that maybe want to go out and do special occasion hair. And that's again another dimension away from the salon chair, isn't it, that you could find yourself doing special occasion hair in a hall on a wedding day.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? Reading through the comments tonight, it's made me realise that people love, especially creative people, they love to have a little bit of both. You dabble in one world and you dabble in the rest, and you take the best of both, don't you? Because it does get a little bit repetitive. I mean, I'm not 15 years in yet, but I can totally relate with people that say it's just nice to get out of the salon to do a little bit of side session work or a little bit of wedding hair. And I think it keeps you on your toes. But there always is going to be those type of people that just want to be behind the chair and go home. And those are the people that keep salons alive as well. So it's great to have a mixture of both. I think when you're really, really super passionate, you'll probably delve into different areas. So it's really good to have, you know, the techniques that Cherie's showcasing. And what I like about her video actually is that you can see that she's actually broken down each and every section. And when I first learned hair up, and what some of the reasons why my stylists hate it is because you don't know where to start, and there's so many different things that you could do. But what I like about what she did is it seems quite systematic. You start at the back and then you feed in the different segments of hair, so it's broken down really easily and quite easy to understand.
Yeah, no, good, brilliant. And from tonight, I mean, it's been a great show, and we're just coming towards the end. And Sarah, I know, is actually on here. We're going to try and play that audio clip again. If we can't, I'm going to play it next week. So we're going to have to cover that again. So yeah, apologies, we can do that. So yeah,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I don't know what happened because in rehearsal it played fine.
A little introduction, Sarah. So Sarah Mason from Ireland, who is a Wella Fashionista, a Wella guest artist, and an award-winning hairstylist with her own brand, Sarah Mason Professional. Now, she has put together a lovely voice note for us, as she's been in Ireland for the whole first week of post-lockdown.
Yeah,
so here is Sarah's take on the new normal and the positives behind it. Over to you, Sarah.
We may have a blank screen here. If it does, we'll come straight back and we will play it next week. But here we go. If we've got a blank screen, Give us a like anyway.
We were delighted to get back behind the chair. I suppose, firstly, we didn't actually open on the 29th. I chose to kind of do a full induction with the team. And I suppose for me, that's the most important thing, that in a salon environment, that we all keep up communication. And I think communication is going to be the key of success for everybody running their business. Because definitely we did see different emotions. It was amazing seeing clients coming through the door really happy. Some had fear, some really had anxiety. They were afraid. Some were not afraid. Some just couldn't wait. They ran through the door. So, but another thing is kind of like watching your booking system and arranging the correct time and really managing your day and daily life in the salon. And that has been, I suppose, the hardest challenge, because really now you can't put as many people in your salon. But the one thing I have enjoyed the most is spending more time with our clients and giving them a better service, because we're not doing as many clients. To me, I feel this is a really special time for us. I feel that it's a time where, you know, we can really actually feel our worth, which has been amazing. And there is nothing more rewarding than seeing the spring in someone's step when you just take off the gown and you've just finished their hair and they feel $1 million. That to me brought me emotion this week, and it was a real feel-good factor. Absolutely amazing. I suppose I would like to wish everybody the best of luck. As I said, I think it's absolutely key to keep your communication level up with your team, but also with your client base. We've made a huge awareness to our clients of how the salon runs while we're making our appointment. So we do have a script for each client so that they understand what we expect when they come in the door. So it's just to have clarity in everything. But it's been tremendous, really. And let's hope we can just all keep going and keep our doors open and enjoy our work and do what we're good at. And I wish everybody the best. Thanks a million.
Fantastic. God, what a beautiful voice as well, Sarah. Just so relaxing to hear that. So I'm glad we got that up. I don't know why that didn't play earlier, but then that's kind of what happens in these lives. Who wants to add to that?
I love what Sarah has said about having that extra time. I've overdone it at the salon, and on Saturday I could tell that actually 15 minutes per appointment extra is too much. However, it is really nice to just take that time, like she said, because we've gone from nothing to 100. So it's nice to kind of ease your way in. And also what she said about, we kind of, not necessarily that hairdressers have the upper hand, but there's a new level of gratitude, and there's a new level of thanks coming from the clients, because they've realised how crap life could be without you. So what do you think, George?
Yeah, well, it's my first day today, and we've extended our times. And there is just, do you know what? I really get bad anxiety when you get lots of people waiting for you, or when you run behind. So for me, this has been really good for my own mental health, to be honest, to extend that time and actually to be able to offer that bespoke service. And, you know, I always said I was going to get tattooed on the back of my neck, "I'll not be long," because that's all I ever say to people. Right? So for the first day in my life, I've actually not said, "I'll not be long." People have come in and I've said, "Right, I'm ready for you. I can't wait to see you." And do you know what? That's great for them, and it's great for me as well.
Absolutely, I love that. How many of us all say, "I'm not going to be long." An hour later, I'll be with you shortly. It's one of those sort of conversations, isn't it? And, you know, I mean, look, we're all kind of getting back into it. And I know our friends in Scotland, Wales, I think Northern Ireland are back now. But, it's been good. It's been good to see all your posts and everybody showing their experiences. And I think probably in a week's time, we kind of knew tonight it was going to be a bit of a strange night, because we're all just so into our businesses being open. It's kind of a weird time almost, isn't it, Jordana, as we all sort of settle into our salons, you know, getting back with our clients.
It is, and it's slow paced, so I'm kind of enjoying it. I know I've only done 1.5 days, and I'll let you know next week if I'm still enjoying it. But for now, I am. And it's been nice to get on here and to continue to chat about things and sometimes take your mind away from clients as well. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We've got some really amazing guests coming up next week. Mindful Mondays is back because we had a bit of a technical glitch today, but an amazing lineup of guests for you in the next couple of weeks. So please do tune in. It's your chance to stop, to take a breather and see what's going on around you.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And George, you're back in. I start back tomorrow. Yeah, end of a run. And I've just got to say as well, guys, yeah, it's been an emotional time. I actually posted quite an emotional video the other day. I didn't think I posted it, but yeah, it has been. And I think now seeing everybody getting into the groove of it is great. And obviously you'll love hearing how your week's been, you know, as society.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been amazing. Like, it was my first day today. You guys know yourself. Like, I'm there at 5:45, driving home, like on the phone to you guys, hectic, saying, "I'm gonna go in the window. I'm gonna do the hair show." You know, there's big changes, but I'm excited moving forward. It's the new normal. What can I say? But you know, keep watching the show because we aim to bring you all the latest news, everything that's going on. And like we've said 100 times before, guys, this is your show. So give us your feedback, let us know what you want, and we'll happily provide it.
Absolutely. Well, look, guys, I'm going to sort of say goodbye to you both, and I'm going to do the final farewells. And but thank you. It's always a delight sitting down. I look forward to this night every week. Yeah, sitting down with you both, and yeah, it's just a real pleasure to do it. So have a great week, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you all back here next week. You two.
Good luck,
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Later. Bye.
So there we have it. Another week of the hair show. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. And as Jordana was saying, we've got huge amounts coming to you next week. So get in touch with us, please. Really do get in touch. Reach out if there's something you would like to come into the show, if there's something you would like to be part of in the show. Then let us know. Until you tell us, we don't know. And ideas, help us produce this show. If you want to be producers of this show, then get in touch. And all the forms are there. Competitions with Joico. Thank you to everybody that has put together those bundle prizes. It's really been great, and it's been such a pleasure. So I'm going to flash up some of these comments again. If you want to have a little bit more of what we're about, how to cut it, you can find us on all the platforms. We have our new channel, YouTube. We've got a lot of the videos. So if you want to see the videos in longer form, they're all on the YouTube channel. So I think Dan has put it in the page, in the comments below. Instagram, we're there, posting regularly on that, and also the How to Cut It podcast. And this week we've got a big subject actually, and that's actually why the hair industry needs to change, and it's with a young Asian hairdresser, Farah Khan, and it's a big hitting subject. So if you want to get hold of that, go and find the How to Cut It podcast. So thank you all so very much for being part of this show tonight, and as always we finish on our TikToks. All right, so we're going to flash up your comments. If you want to put a TikTok video into the show as well, then submit them again. Form link is in the comments. So until next Monday, have a great week, everybody. Peace, love and smiles all the way. Goodbye.